You already know what it is, and you already know who it is. It's your boy B, and I'm right back at you guys with another video. And today, we are on our way home from work. I did a live stream earlier today. We touched on some interesting topics, had some interesting characters on the live stream with me. You dig? And again, I started off with telling you guys, man, I loved you. I really love my comment section, man. Y'all be having me going. The people this morning was a little crazy, but it is what it is. I know it's a little windy, so you cats gonna have to bear with me out here on this beautiful day. It's funny because the day started off mad warm, like 40 degrees. But now with all this wind, it most definitely feels cooler than that. But that don't stop the show, my people. That does not stop the show. My boy, Big Mont is on the check-in. He said, yo, what's good, Big Mont? Big Mont is somebody that I was definitely going to give a shout out to today. Cause he sent me some reading material that I waited for. He sent it to me, I think he sent it to me the day before because we were speaking about emergent properties and stuff like that. I was calling it imminent properties. I don't know what the hell got into me. But he sent me something to read about that. I read it. It sparked my interest, and we're gonna speak about that today, But also, we gotta get into how work went. We talk about the health, and it was cool, man. It was cool. I ate my meals that I needed to eat today. My stomach felt good. Had some yogurt, some Greek yogurt. I also had a grilled cheese sandwich, man, with some bacon. Let me tell you, man, these spots where I work, they can't make a grilled cheese with bacon. I don't get it, man. I don't understand how hard and how difficult it is to make a grilled cheese with bacon and you call yourself a chef. I don't get it, man. Like how hard could it be to make a grilled cheese with bacon? I'm gonna tell you what these cats be making. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what these cats make. They make a sandwich with cheese and they put bacon on it, yo. Cause they don't, the damn grilled cheese ain't crispy. The bread, I can't even talk, man. The cheese not melted. They just put the one piece of bread on the other. It's soggy on the inside. How you doing? Hey. The damn bacon ain't made, man. This is a terrible sandwich. I wanted to return it, and I don't even return stuff. But I wanted to return that, man. But overall, the day was good. The day was good. Them cats came and sat with me. They shadowed me. I showed them some of the processes in which we do. Showed them the daily scorecard. Also showed them the ride checks. Showed them the phone surveys, things like that. So again, these cats is trying to come through and replace one of our systems. But first they need to know our policies and they need to see how we do things. So that was cool too. That was cool, my people. That was cool, But one thing I was thinking about when I was on my way to work, I put the phone down. I didn't put the phone down, but I was reading something constructive. And it started to get me into thinking, man. And I started thinking about things. And one of the things we were speaking about was leaving the physical body, man. Leaving the physical body. And this got me to start thinking about the mind. What's the mind? What is a human in general? I get to start thinking about the universe, the beginnings of the universe, and all that type of stuff, man. And I'm beginning to what I feel and what I think about these things, right? So I think it's a combination of natural laws, things like evolution, and also the fact that we have emergent properties, man. Like things just, when complexity reaches a certain extent, what happens is another level of existence forms, That creates another level of existence. So we could look at the brain, right? And I don't think that there's things outside of the brain. I don't think there's a mind outside of the brain. You understand what I'm saying? But when you look at the brain is nothing but neurons and cells and things like that, which individually is just that, a neuron, just a cell. But when they start working together, emergent properties develop. And that is like the mind, what we collectively call the mind. And that's what the brain does, it minds. One of its functions is to mind, form a mental picture of the universe that we have. And that's how we survive, based off of that mental picture that we have, And then natural other things start to develop. So we can look at evolution, right? Or biology, which led, or chemistry, which led into biology. You get a bunch of cells working together. Mimi forever. All right, Mimi. So you get a bunch of cells working together, and then you get life to a certain extent, single cell life. And what happens is other laws begin to develop based off of that. So before the first organisms came, they didn't have certain laws that we follow by now. What the hell was that in these trees, man? I need to get away from here. So it's certain things that couldn't develop. You understand? So life, right? Before life, there wasn't a struggle for survival. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't a struggle for survival well, it was to a certain extent, but it wasn't in a multicellular way where that struggle became for reproduction, So once you start getting single cell life forms and things competing for resources, naturally what develops is whatever organism is better suited for that environment, they tend to reproduce more, which basically increases their genes in the population. And this is what we call evolution. So you get this to happen millions and millions of years. That complexity creates what we call a human, which we are. You know what I mean? There's no one cell that makes a human. There's no one, organ that makes a human. When they work together, what forms is something that we call life, man. And I think that is crazy how, none of these laws really existed. And this is, with people, physicists, I'm simplifying a very, very, very complex idea. And again, I'm not a physicist, and so I don't necessarily know. I'm just using my common sense and trying to figure things out going from there, But I think I may be on to something, man, Because think about it. How can we have the laws of hereditary, if I'm saying it correctly, before the first cells, before reproduction? How can we have genetic mutations before genes even existed? You feel me? These mutations, like I'm about to get hit by a car talking about I'm about to mutate. That car was gonna make me mutate. Yeah. So when we look at it, you got mutations. And the mutations is like the building blocks of nature, So you can have a mutation that catches on into the population and it becomes widespread. And that's like the building blocks that nature uses, different variations of genes to create. And through millions of years, that's what we got here. We got Big Mind on the check, and he said it's all theory anyway. Your theory is as good as a physicist. Thanks, Big Mind. Thank you very much, Thank you very much. But yeah, man, so I think about that type of stuff, man. I start thinking about, again, like transcendence. And, that leads to transcendence and things like that. So I ask myself, where are we going with religion, man? Where are we going with religion and where are we going with these ideas? And I think like minds. So we were speaking about minds, right? And some of the things that minds create are systems of belief, right? Systems of belief. And one of those systems of belief, which I used to go down on, I used to, think that these things were false and look down at people for thinking them. But honestly, if religion and systems of belief have been around since humans evolved, then I believe that's an emergent property of the mind. And this is some of the things that a mind create just so that we could survive, So for the time, our ancestors who lived, their minds developed a system which controlled people and controlled the way that people believed. And according to them and their life view, and the environment in which they lived, that was very, very helpful. So it's survived, you know? It's evolution the same way. Survival of the fittest. The idea survived through all of these years. So I think that is real. Now I look at where it's gonna go in the future with such religions. And our environment changed. Our environment most definitely changed. At first we were more superstitious because we didn't know as much about science. But again, science and developing a way to look at the fabric of the world is another invention of the mind, which is science. It may tell us things that we perceive as real in the universe, but at the same time, it's still a production of the mind. So now, as we go further and further, right, we start looking at scientific proofs as the ultimate teller of truth. So how would those things that we thought about, like religion, like the physical body of a Jesus, how would that go? You know, it got to evolve and it has to change. And I'm seeing a bunch of new age religions pop up. And what are these new age religions? Where they're saying that these stories in the Bible, stories in these religious texts are nothing but fake. That, you know, you don't take them literally. So you want to take basically the message at what they're saying. And I look at that as what I was telling y'all before in my last podcast, talking about Dr. Manhattan, speaking about Bradley Lewis. Damn, I said my own name. Speaking about myself and how I'm trying to not be a physical person. I'm just want to be an idea. And I think that a lot of these religious people from the past, they're becoming like Jesus. Jesus, like you can believe in Jesus and you can accept Jesus, even if you don't accept the virgin story now. Even if you don't accept that he walked the earth. Or you can even accept that, think that he was a regular human, but a great human. Like some people call him in some religions. They call him a prophet. So what I look at it is like this, man. The story of Jesus, his mission, his teachings, they're emerging. And he's left his physical body and his message has been resurrected to the people. You understand? But these ideas are still gonna go on because they are inventions of the mind. They are inventions of the mind. And this helps us survive, you know? It helps us survive. And in a certain sense, it's like updates, emergent properties, things that's coming that we never knew could possibly exist because we never had this level of, complexity that's all connected and working together. And technology is making that thing real, man. It's making it real. So I think about where we going in the future, man. Where we going in the future? I know you got transhumanism. They think that we merging with machines. I think that that is partly true. We are definitely merging in machines. You know, I even take it to a whole nother level and start thinking, man. You know, like just the nature of intelligence. Y'all ever think about the nature of intelligence? What I mean is that we were, you know, our minds evolved, like I was saying, from basic matter, basic, you know, bit like the nature just arise naturally, right? And it evolved like that. So that's nature's way of creating. Our way and our take on that is artificial intelligence. You know, so I think, could it become conscious? Could artificial intelligence become conscious? And then we're gonna have to start changing our rules, man. Because these robots probably gonna look at a fucking PlayStation and be like, yo, these were our ancient ancestors and look how y'all treated us as humans. They might try to rebel and have a civil rights movement for artificial intelligence, saying that they have emotions and that they have feelings and that they real people. It could get crazy, man. It could get crazy. Definitely crazy, man. Anybody in the check-in, what y'all think about stuff like that, man? Y'all sit down and think about that? Well, I'll be tripping early in the morning, you know? What y'all talking about? What y'all thinking about? Let me know. I've been going on a rant, so I'm gonna fall back and let y'all talk to me, man. What y'all thinking about today? Y'all think about AI, artificial intelligence, Y'all think about emergence? Do you guys think about society? Think about, groups, how they form, what holds them together, things like that. These are some of the things I think about, man. Also think about the Big Bang, stuff like that. Think about the nature of time and like what's time? Is time an emergent property? Can we ask if time is an emergent property? You know? And when we start talking about before the Big Bang. So like, does consequences or things even have a meaning outside of the physical world? Because we know that things in this universe happen in something that they define as space-time. So space and time is all wrapped in the same fabric, my people. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about the before time even existed, like what does that really mean? But time did come into existence with the Big Bang, my people. So Big Mont said the story of the AI that decided to blackmail a CEO to avoid dying being shut down. Yeah, that's real right there. That's real. Who's really in control? Who is really in control? I don't know, man. This is some real stuff and some serious topics that we speak about on these nightly walks. I told myself I'm not gonna speak about myself, and we want to start speaking more about ideas, man. And I think that this is a good idea. I want everybody to go home and think about this, man. What do you think about these types of topics? Because I'm going to talk about them tomorrow. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, man. You know what I mean? And this is some real serious stuff, When we even think about it, you know what I mean? You can look at the basic elements, Look at the basic elements and things like that. And they are us. We are it. Just in a different form. You understand? It's some crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff, Crazy stuff. But I'm almost on my way home. I'm about to shut this one down. I think we've been going for long enough, almost 20 minutes. What do I have planned when I go home tonight? I got a bunch of stuff to do, man. I think most likely what I'm gonna try to do is work on that some event that I did, So I wanted to knock that down. Like I said, it's like taking a test, man. Taking the test, you feel me? Knock down the easy ones first and then save the hard ones for last. And we got a lot to do over the weekend, but I'm gonna get a quick jump and knock out some of the easier things, you dig? But thank everybody for the check-in. Y'all can catch me tomorrow morning around 4:30 in the a.m. You dig? We might be talking more about things like this. Hit me up, man. And I love y'all. The chat, you keep me alive, man. But I will speak to you cats tomorrow. Peace out. Yeah.